Okay, gentlemen and ladies, can someone tell me whether you can hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear.
You can hear me, right? Very good. So here we have the about 11 people on the screen, as far as I can see. I really don't do this kind of online lectures. I don't like it. To be very frank with you. Of course, if people are coming from very far, that's a very convenient method. But on the other hand, I always do these things with a lot of interaction, which means I go to the people and we ask questions and we have friendly chats. So unfortunately, we can't do that. On the other hand, if I would have definitely come to the IESL today, if not for a funeral that I had to attend in the morning, in the house actually. And I came over, it was about 3 p.m. or 3:30. So I thought I'll go online. So I hope I'm going to share with you. Actually, today we'll be sharing about 4 or 5 videos. But the first one is quite enjoyable. Listen to it and observe everything that's happening there. So it says start my video. I don't know if it's going to start the video. What is the video? Oh, I don't want to start my video because most of you perhaps know me. So there's a video online. Please tell me if you can see the video. Do you see the video? Do you see the video? Hey, please tell. Do you see the video?
No, sir.
You don't see the video. That's it. That's what I want to know. Do you hear the video?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then that means I have to do some adjustments. So I say stop share and I stop the video as well. Yeah. When I share, there is got to be something. They say I share the screen and all kinds of things. Let me see if it's going to work. Okay. Do you see the video screen now? Do you see the video screen?
Yes, sir, we can see.
And do you hear? Do you hear the video?
No, sir, can't hear.
No, of course. Do you hear the video? Do you hear the video?
Not yet, sir.
But you can see the video now, right?
Yeah.
But you don't hear it. No sound at all, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that means I have to again stop the video. Oh, come on. How do I stop the video? Oh no, actually there's something wrong somewhere. Don't you hear anything? Did you hear nothing? There's something that you have to press. Now, someone told me that you had to press certain things. I did press all the share sound, optimize for video sharing. And now let me see if I can. Do you see the screen? You see
Yes,
the
sir.
screen. Now, hopefully you should be able to see the video as well as you see the screen now.
Yes, sir, we can see.
You can see the video screen, right? You can hear? Can you hear the video? Come on, I need a feedback, man. You
No,
hear the
sir.
video?
No, sir.
You don't hear anything? Come on. Do you hear anything?
No, sir.
You only see the movement of some people, right? Do you see the screen? Come on. You guys are going to be child engineers, right? You can't speak. Please answer my question because we are losing time. I'll stop this otherwise. Please.
Sir,
You see
we
the
can't see your video and we only hear your voice, sir.
you don't even see the video now, right?
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Nothing. Okay. So I see someone else's screen on this. Tell me, what do you see? Do you see the video? I can see your
Yes,
video.
sir. Yes,
But
sir.
you hear the voice?
Yes.
You hear it also, right? Do you hear, please?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes,
Now
sir.
it's okay, sir.
Okay. Listen to it and look at the screen. Watch the entire screen. वेगवेगळे प्रश्न कथा करणार. Okay. How many people were there? How many people are there in that video? Come on. I need responses, right? You guys are going to be child engineers, and I'll get the list and say that don't pass any of these people. Why can't you speak up, please? ගෙදරින් එනකොට කිව්වද මේ කතා කරන්න එපයි කියලා? නෝනා මහත්තයලා එහෙම. Hmm? Can someone tell me how many people are there in the track on the stage? Anybody?
7.
Very good. Very good. Right. Because a lot of people say 6. Okay. Now let me get on with the presentation. Okay. I think you see the screen as well. Right. There were 7 people. What were they doing? What were they doing? Come on, if you want to finish this lecture early and if you allow me to convey all what I want to convey, please respond fast. What were they trying to do? In one word. Please.
Entertain.
Entertain. They were in act of entertainment and there were 7 people. Was it an easy act? Was it an easy act? Yes or no?
No,
No.
sir.
No. Good. So there were 7 people, a team of let's say professionals who wanted to entertain someone else, some others at a great sacrifice, or they had to stretch their limits in order to entertain a crowd. And that entertainment act, no one could have done it single-handedly. They need to have a team, and the entire team had to act in synchronism with a very good understanding, and they had to perform it very precisely. And that is engineering. Engineering is all our work for others. We often have to do it as a team, and if we don't stretch our limits, we cannot do a perfect job in engineering. So that's my introduction to you. Right. So the topics given to me, I will try to cover as much as possible. It's such a huge scope. The key topic is engineering profession as a technical leader, as that's what I was told. And the subtopic should be professional charter, registry of engineers, importance of ECSL stands for. Does anyone know what ECSL stands? Well, you guys have been in the field for some time, right? What is ECSL? Can someone please? I need answers, right? Please. It's a very interactive session. If you had an audience, I would know how to get the answers out. But you are far reach. You are beyond my reach. So please volunteer and give answers. Patkala then we can finish fast. Convey all the content that I can do for the day. What is ECSL? Anybody?
Engineering Council Sri Lanka.
NJ Council Sri Lanka. Engineering education, recognition and accreditation of engineering degree programs. Before I go any further, I'll talk a word about recognition and accreditation. It's one and the same thing. But since some other engineering degrees are coming to the IESL for the first time, they have a facility to get it recognized first. And before all this accreditation process, we had only recognition. So we are still continuing the recognition process of the engineering degrees. And the best we can do is to get the accreditation of your degree. All these things we'll be talking as the time permits as we go along. Then knowledge sharing as resource person, I don't know what it means, perhaps what I'm doing now. Working with other professional organizations, I'm not going to talk about that. I'll be definitely talking about our interaction with other professionals and membership of International Engineering Alliance. Definitely, I will talk about it. The engineering education accords and professional agreements. These things I should be able to cover because I have made about 3 videos, or 4 videos, so it might itself take some time. So, if I am not audible, or if you want to raise a question, you can most certainly unmute yourself and ask me a question or ask for a clarification, because I tend to speak very fast. Very fast in the sense I sort of go in express train. That's my fault. But if you want to ask me something, pause me. They say, ho, sir, I didn't hear you. Before I start anything, I want to share with you some of my favorite videos, quotes, and anecdotes. My first quotation is from a book gifted to me by a very famous, not very famous at all. He is the chief executive officer of the NTPC, stands for National Thermal Power Corporation of India. He's one of the huge organizations, maybe having about 30,000, 40,000 megawatts of coal power and various other thermal power generating plants. I met him in 2014, and this book was published in 2013. And the book title was Management by Idiots. You can just try to Google and see if you can get a copy. And he is definitely know what management is all about. When I met him, he would have been in the late or mid 50s. So was I. And Mr. Chowdhury is known to have become a CEO of a huge organization, but the Indian organizations are very, very big. 300,000 people organization at the age of 33. So when I met him, maybe 53 plus or about 58. So he had enough time to learn about management. So he published this book, very interesting book called Management by Idiots. Like you and I, perhaps, right? So one of the quotes in that first chapter is, if you don't blow your own trumpet, others will use it as a spittoon. Spittoon is padikam in Tamil and padikkama in Demala, Sringala. Very often we don't see these spittoons now anymore in our houses. Those days when people visited a house, they used to offer the sheaf of beetle on a bulatepua, and people used to chew the beetle and they had to spit out. So that's a spittoon, padikkama. I think all of you have seen. So this says everything. Now, blowing the own trumpet does not mean you heard some nice music and there were some trumpets. The music was nice. Now, some people, when you say blow your own trumpet, they sound only noise. Now, we don't want to hear noise. Just imagine if that was a scramble of noises. Nobody would enjoy that, right? So when you speak out, all what he says is speak out, speak up. But when you speak out and speak up, you have to speak sense as engineers. So I plead with you. If you don't know what to speak, don't speak. And you have to speak when you have to speak, and speak loudly and clearly as the others understand. And but you have to make sense as engineers. And for you to make sense as engineers, you have to have a lot of knowledge on what you should be knowing. And also, you should know what you don't know. And please don't tell lies to the audience because they believe you as engineers. Well, that's also a very small story I would like to share with you. I hope you don't mind that. So, just as a joke, there was a very famous and illustrious ambassador by the name of I forget his name, right? Engineer Dhanapala, right? What his first name? I forget his first name. Sorry for that. Jayant Dhanapala. He was a well sought out after diplomat of Sri Lanka. He nearly became the Secretary General of the United Nations, right? If only Sri Lanka was a better placed country, everybody wanted him to become the Secretary General, but these things have a lot of politics. You also have to have a big country behind you to make influence, to influence others. He would have been a top-notch Secretary General. It didn't happen. That is Jan Dhanapala. And when I went to Washington, D.C., when he was the ambassador there in Washington, D.C., he had a picture in his sitting room with Bill Clinton and Jan Dhanapala both playing the trumpet together. Incidentally, Bill Clinton and he had been schoolmates in the university. And so this is an absolute nonsense story. He said once there was a party in the White House and Bill Clinton started playing the trumpet, and he kept the trumpet after playing on a trumpet stand, which looked like what you saw there. You see, like this, like this, like this. And then he said he had a Sri Lankan minister. It's absolute bullshit, right? Sorry to use that word. And this guy was in his our national suit. And after a lot of drinks, this guy was want to ease himself off, not spit out, but ease himself off. Then he was going around. Then he saw this thing. He thought it was a urinal, and he eased himself onto that. So the rest is history. But it was absolutely a joke, and we had a hearty laugh. Jayant Janapal is famous for that kind of pulling pranks. Right. That's the kind of a diplomat we had. Now, in the very old Hindu scriptures, you are familiar with these words, those who are Hindus here, Vedic scriptures. Now, Vedic scriptures, some people say 3,000, 4,000 years old, some others say 6,000, 5,000 years old, and yet some others say 12,000, 13,000 years ago. Whatever the age may be, they are the first Hindu scriptures we have found of any religion written into clay tablets. Right. This is from the Rig Veda. When there is harmony between the mind, when you say, you really think of the brain, right? Heart is emotions and resolution, firmness in the character. It's a characteristic of the resolution. Mind is your thinking power, right? So the mind, heart, and resolution. So you think from your mind, you have a passion from your heart, and you made a resolve that I'm going to do something. Then I do believe in this. Nothing is impossible. Now you can ask me a question and say, what a fool you are, sir. Can you go to moon? I won't imagine not going to moon. So the mind isn't there. Though I may have a passion. Even if I am resolved, my mind will not allow me to think of going to the moon. So that is why you must have a good brain above your shoulders, in your head. So you will only think of something that you can do. And you must have a passion to do that. And you must be resolved to do that. Then nothing is impossible. I'm going to prove it. Now, I did a couple of videos before I prove it. I do believe in this. I wrote these 2 videos, right? Okay. Now, once again, I hope it will play. Please shout out if you don't see the video. Do you see the video and hear the noise? Come on. Do you see the video and hear the noise?
Only noise.
Only noise, not the video.
No, sir.
Wow.
Hi guys.
Can you?
And my
No,
name
sir.
is Fernando.
You can see
Now
the
we
video?
can see. Now we
Yes.
can see.
Can hear also?
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
My name is Chao Lich,
And my name is Vard. I'm 26 years old, and she is
96.
And you're going to be doing the act together. This is your...
yes. We're going to do ballroom dancing together.
How did you meet each other?
Tinder.
So I was teaching one of my mambo classes, and she just walked in to the studio, and from that day, we've been dancing together for 6 years.
Oh wow! And you think that this is $1 million act?
She's right next to me.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay, go for it. Enjoy yourselves.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank you.
96.
Pretty amazing.
Howie,
Need to.
Would America like them, Howie? Do you think they will?
Oh, I don't think America will like them. I think America will love them.
Yes.
Thank you.
Heidi, what did you think?
I was just gonna say, I'm a little mad that you stole my dress out of my dressing room before you came out here. No, Tao, you really are an inspiration. It's unbelievable. It is incredible.
Howard?
Thank you.
Heidi? Yes.
Thank you.
I have to say yes, it was great.
All right, well, you got 4 yeses. We will see you again.
She's skipping it at you.
It's about entertainment, and I know my parents will be sitting there watching this going, maybe we should get off the couch.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Hi, guys. Welcome to America's Got Talent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. Okay. It's not going to go. Anyway, so stop sharing. Let's see. And get into my second video. You see my screen, right? Yeah. So watch this. Watch this. You see the video?
Not yet, sir.
What is it? What do you see?
Only here.
Only here. You don't see the video. That's the problem we are having. And once again, media player. Share this video. Hi, do you see the video?
Yes.
And here, you hear some sound? Okay. Anyway, have a good look. I told you I am going to prove if you might have the mind, heart, and the resolution. And perhaps yes, that is. When that person did that, he was 60 years old. And when that happened, just about 2 weeks before that incident, this school principal died. I'm sure you guess who that person is. That's myself. Just after 2 weeks after that person died. Right? So stop that. Share and new share. Okay, so much for the videos for the moment. And let's go on now. So I told you, you have resolution in your mind, heart, and resolution. Nothing is impossible for, at least for engineers. Take that into your heart. Okay? One more video. Sorry. The last one for the moment, right? Okay. Let's watch this. Now tell me, you see the video? See the video?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, no. And you see
That when
the
I
video?
met
Yeah, we can hear.
the
Yeah.
SIA pilot,
Now I will have to do this. Okay, you see the video. Yeah.
I can tell you that when I met the
The last
SIA
video.
pilots, I didn't meet them on TV. I met them face to face. So 5 feet across the table so they can see me and see whether I'm still vigorous, able to campaign and take them on, whether it's worth taking me on. And I offered them 2 choices. Either you argue, you stop this intimidation, which is what it was, bringing SIA right down, disrupting services, ruining its reputation, millions of dollars worth of advertisements and sales ruined within a matter of 2 weeks. I gave them a choice. Continue this, and I will, by every means at my disposal, teach you and get the people of Singapore, help me teach you a lesson you won't forget. And I'm prepared to start all over again. Or stop it. Get back to work, restore discipline, then argue your case. Took them 65 minutes. And they decided, okay, it isn't worth the fight. Why? Because they know they'll lose. They know that I'm prepared to ground the airline. They know that I can get the airline going again without them. And let there be no mistakes about this. Whoever governs Singapore must have that iron in him, or give it up. This is not a game of cards. This is your life and mine. I've spent a whole lifetime building this. And as long as I'm in charge, nobody's going to knock it down.
Okay, I'm sure you know the guy. Anybody who doesn't know him, that's Lee Kuan Yew, the founding Prime Minister of Singapore. So some of you may have seen this before, and it shows the character of Lee Kuan Yew, how resolved he was to get the Singapore Airlines out of the strike. Resolution and determination and leadership. So Singapore was thrown out of the Malayan Kingdom in 1965. And in his own words, Singapore was a swamp. Swamp it was a fishing village when he took over. There was a fishing harbor only in Singapore. No resources whatsoever. Very small landmass. Singapore was full of gangsters. He said he had few millions of people to account for. What can he learn from this man? Remember, this guy is supposed to have said in 1965, I will make Singapore like Ceylon. Ceylon is the name that we had. I'm sure most of you know that. Okay, where are we? Where is Singapore? I would say he was a man of immense courage, who never looked back on his mission, committed to the mission. He was firm of his conviction. He was very firm that I will get what I want done in Singapore. He was staying focused. I like this word, staying focused. I teach in the many universities. I mentor a lot of young engineers. This is something that I continue to tell. Stay focused, especially those engineers in the public sector. Get criticized, and sometimes their names appear in the newspapers. They are spoken ill about them, right? I was in the Synod Executive Board for a long time. We have been blamed as very inefficient, corrupt lot. But I have been telling these guys, don't listen to the noise around. Don't listen to the news. Stay focused. Do your job. If you want to start answering and arguing with these people, you'll never do your job. You'll be all the time fighting with these people, trying to argue out. Stay focused and do your job. Stayed away from all those who did not fall in line with the commitment to rebuild nation. I think there is a Pali stanza. I forget because I'm a Christian. It says what it calls Asevaracha Balana, something like that, right? So don't associate with people with little minds. Associate with people who have better minds, better resolve. Leaders. If you associate with riffraff, scum, you become one of them. You will never rise up. So stay away from people who are pulling you down, those who are negative in the attitudes. Don't associate with them. Even if you want to associate with them, if you want, you can pull them out from there where they are. But don't fall into their pit. Do not serve everyone with the same spoon. Now, I'm sure you have heard very often, Mama hamotam bedanekama hande. We'll see what happens if you do that. I serve everyone with the same spoon. Nonsense. There is always a saying that if you try to please everyone, you will end up pleasing no one. Incidentally, today I saw that same quotation in some other thing that I just opened up. It says, the sure, whatever that, I can't remember the exact word, the sure thing for you to be successful, I can't tell you. The sure thing I can tell you, if you don't want to be successful, try to please everyone. If you try to please everyone, you will not be successful and you are not going to please anyone. There is also saying, if you try to please everyone, you will end up pleasing no one. Mama hamotam bedanekama hende. Let's see how we do that. So there are 3 jars. What will happen if you try to treat everyone with the equal measure? Anevarakkum ore karandiyal sevai segireen. Mama hamotam bedanekama hende. Anevarakkum ore karandiyal sevai segireen. I hope I pronounced it correctly. See what happens. 3 jars, 1 spoon. See what happens. The corner jar on the left hand of your screen is overwhelmed. He can't absorb what you're saying. He can't take in your instructions more than what he's capable of. The second man is quite happy. He's satisfied. His ambitions are met. And you are giving him adequate instructions that he can perform. What happened to this guy? He's eternally frustrated because you are not giving him adequate work. His capabilities are so high. So, my dear friends, you have to have a good understanding with whom you're working with. Don't try to threaten people with more and more work, and then he becomes frustrated, he will not perform. Neither give inadequate work to the people who can do much more. Assess their capabilities, give them the right kind of responsibilities and work. So it goes strong with accountability, responsibility, and everything. Performability. That's a word that I just coined just now. Performability. There's a lot to learn from people like of the caliber of Lee Kuan Yew, right? And another quote is one of my favorite quotes from Albert Einstein. I'm thankful for all those who said no to me. It's because of them I'm doing it myself. In my career, spanning almost 46 years in public life, I passed out in 1978 December. You can just calculate and see. I was employed from 1979 February at the Ceylon Electricity Board, which career I ended up in 2015, almost 21 days short of 36 months. Sorry, not 36 months, 36 years, sorry. It's only 21 days short of 36 years of my career in the CB. Still, I'm active in the professional field arena. And there have been many, many instances who said, "Say the piece to the Karanian. Oh, Karane bad, sir. Sir, even my bosses will say, Shavi, are you mad to take over that job? You can't do it. How can you do it? You don't have enough resources. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough skills. Let's see if I have listened to them, I would have achieved anything. So I'm very thankful for those who said no to me. And it's because of them, I did it myself. Where did I do it? If there's anybody from CB here, I'm just asking, can I see a show of hands, the CB guys? Just give me a reaction, if possible. Or just shout out and say, I'm from CB. Either they are there or they are just, I don't know. I should be ashamed of them if they don't speak out. Okay. I did one of the most controversial hydropower projects, Upper Kotpally hydropower project, which I started in 1992, the feasibility study and the environmental impact assessment study. Until 2002, I could not do anything, though I had the full clearance to do the project. It was only 2002, I got the money to do it. Though I had the money in 1995, the money was taken back by JICA. It's a long story. And most of you, if there's anyone from the upcountry area, you'll know there are a lot of protests, shouting going on, not allowing me to do the project. So it took me 10 years after the studies to start the project. And it took another 10 years for me to commission the project, because right along, people were obstructing me, shouting at me. When some people came to kill me, they tried to assault me. I was, in fact, last weekend, I went on 10th and came back on Sunday evening. I was there. And, oh, it's a pleasure to go back and back and back. I don't know how many times I went back to Upper Kotpally project, even after I left CB. And the latest was from 10th to the 13th, I was there, because we had a huge gathering of the project people and the plant people. We had a very nice, a very nostalgic event. There were about 70 people, a gathering, because we there with our party. It's a 150 megawatt project. The cost was approximately 40 billion Sri Lankan rupees, or $455 million. It was started in 1992, the studies, as I said before. I was in charge of studies. It was stalled due to protests on environmental, social, and political grounds. You see the screen, right? Hello? Guys, you see the screen?
Yes. Yes.
Are you guys alive? Are you guys alive? No noise, huh? Anyway, you guys shout out, right? Anytime. I'd like to hear a bit of shouting from your end, so that I know that you guys are alive and kicking. It was stalled due to press on environmental, social, and political grounds. If there's anybody from Nuwara district, they'll know these stories. File commenced in 2006, and we completed in 2012. And that's a very interesting thing about engineering, in that if there's time, I'll talk about it. Why did I do Upper Kotpally hydropower project when there was so much of opposition? And I just told this to this group even last Friday evening. One very extremely senior public official, an officer in the government of Sri Lanka, publicly he told twice this same statement. Once to the project directors forum, which had about 100 project directors and project managers under when we meet for the monthly project review meetings. And the second time it was at the IES when he came as a chief guest on one of those small events. A high-level public official, one of the highest level public officials that I know. He said the opposition of the country did not want to do this project. The government did not want to do this project. The cabinet did not want to do this project. The Ministry of Power and Energy did not want to do this project. And he also said, even the Ceylon Electricity Board did not want to do this project. And he mentioned my same as said, he did it. He did it. So I'm very proud about that. That's what I say that I'm blowing my trumpet now. For you to know something and to get an inspiration to do much bigger things than even what I did. How did I do it? My guiding light was a quotation from the Bible. I'm Christian. If you know what is right to do and not doing, it is a sin. I'm sure there is enough Buddhist sayings also, or the sayings say the same thing. If you know what is right to do and not doing, is a sin. So just by doing ping and meritorious acts is not going to take you to Nibbana or to heaven. And if you know something that it should be done, you should do it, no matter what. Whether someone will go hungry, someone will fall into a trap. So you should, in a timely manner, do what has got to be done. I knew doing Apagotpally Hyderabad project was the right thing to do. And I did not want to be a sinner. So I did it. So I did it notwithstanding any obstacle, any impediment. No one believed that I will do it with so much of opposition. If anybody wants to know what Apagotpally, the opposition, some of the CB guys may know. I don't know if there's anybody there, but still they'll know how much opposition was there for this project, just like any other project in this country. Some even wished that I failed. That's why I say even CB did not want to do it. I've heard certain CB officials have said, he is not never going to do this. He is never going to achieve this. Knowing very well that it's not going to be done. I thank them all. How did I do it? It is because everyone said no. I did it. I stayed focused and was not swayed by the noise around. There were many decisions by the cabinet to do it and not to do it. The last decision was to rescind all previous decisions to do it, but there was a loophole, and I stepped to the loophole. I did the project, and nobody stopped me. I ignored it. I'm still surviving. I had faith in God. The person who wrote the cabinet decision to rescind all previous decisions was my greatest supporter later. I was not a fool. I knew that that was one of the last decisions of that cabinet. I knew that the government will not survive long. Right? That was in 2006, 6. So end of 5, there was the election. The government was thrown away. And the person who wrote the cabinet decision, the public officer once again, was the greatest supporter while I was doing the project. I thank my staff and I have who had faith only in me, but they were so unsure that even I will do it. I did it. Now I turn to engineering. What is engineering? Who is an engineer? What do you expect to do as an engineer? This is exactly my T1 for me to share with you. I'm going very fast. If you want to stop me and ask questions, please do so. Are you prepared to face the challenges of engineering education? I'm supposed to speak about engineering education. Gain experience. I'm supposed to speak about gaining experience. And then becoming a fully qualified professional engineer, which you are on a mission to become a fully qualified professional engineer, to get the chartership. to get the charter. I would say chartership. To get the charter, and then become a professional engineer. That was told to me that I have to tell you all. Is there anyone who doesn't know how to get the charter here? I don't think so. So now let me turn into a small story. I'm sure some of you may have heard this over and over again from me. Or maybe some people have told you that I have told this story. It's a stale story. Yes, sorry. But there's an important message in that. There was a man by the name Herbert Clark Hoover, an American. So one day he was traveling from London to New York in the mid-1920s, medieval period. And he was in a first-class cabin. He was American. And another lady was occupying a first-class cabin, the same ship, a British lady. You know, the Britishers always had some kind of thing about the Americans. They thought they were superior anyway. And because the mixture of people who went from Ireland, Scotland, England, and various other European countries that went and formed the United States of America. It's mainly the Irish, first of. So if this lady was English, she would have had a kind of a looking down on this man, an American. But on the last day, when they were about to alight from the ship, so it took about 3 months to cross the Atlantic those days in a steamer. Is absolute truth. I have the book in which this story was written. It was taken extracted from the diary of Herbert Clark Hoover. So on the last day, they were sitting for the breakfast and they were about to leave the ship and go to New York. And they had enough time to become friends. And the last thing he wanted to ask question. I used to ask this question from the audience, but since I don't have all the time and also I don't want to, I know that even if I ask you, you guys are not going to speak. I'm sorry about that. I would still ask, but at least can someone tell what is the question she asked? So she asked, I hope you will forgive my dreadful curiosity. And this is the way they would talk in England, right? But I should like to awfully to know what is the question. Anyone? What is the question she asked? After acquainting herself for 3 months. And they were just about to part their ways. What is the question? No answer comes.
What's your profession?
What's your profession? That's the question she asked. So apparently that girl knew this story. He said, I'm an engineer. You think the lady would have jumped and gave him a kiss and say, can I be your partner in your life? On the contrary, she was so disappointed. Her face fell. She didn't like at all the answer. You know what she did? She snapped back and said, I thought you were a gentleman. I thought you were a gentleman. Because he was traveling in a first-class cabin. So all this time, for 3 months, she thought he was a gentleman. And the last day, she found out an engineer is not a gentleman in their time. Why? Those days, engineers were smelling from a mile, but they were always in sweat and grime and grease in their hands. I used to call them like grease monkeys. They wore overall, not nice clothes. Their dirty hands. They were rough people. They were tough people. They often spoke in filth. Very bad mannerisms. Therefore, not recognized in the society at that day, at that time. But now, the engineers are well recognized in society. We have clean hands. We wear perfume, so we won't smell bad. We have good mannerisms, I suppose. and the society therefore look up to them. Isn't it so? I think people look up to us, right? So, ladies, I mean, for them, marry an engineer. The doctors, a lot of doctors are married to engineers. Why? Their parents look for an engineer. So even the lady engineers, maybe you can demand a good husband for you, handsome guy, with a lot of money, right? Because you are recognized in society today. But do we live up to that expectation of the society? This is a $1 million question. Ask yourself, am I respected in my society? Am I looked up to by my peers as a great engineer, as a clever engineer, as an engineer who gives right kind of decisions, a good decision maker? If you are not, think about yourself, adjust yourself. Where people are expecting these kind of things from you. And incidentally, Herbert Clark, who became the 31st president of the United States of America, the only engineer who went on to become the president. Right. So now theory. Who is an engineer? An engineer is a professional practitioner of engineering concerned with applying scientific knowledge, mathematics, and ingenuity. I do a small exercise. Now I don't intend to do it because you are far, far away. I don't see and you're not within my reach. Right? So you must have scientific knowledge and mathematics. I often say engineers' language is science. Engineers' vocabulary is mathematics. If you don't have the right vocabulary, you cannot construct sentences for you to be understood. And for you to be understood, you must have a good structure in your sentences. So your language is scientific knowledge and your vocabulary is mathematics. That's not enough. That's not enough. You can be having a good scientific knowledge and mathematics behind you. And if you don't have what you call the ingenuity, we will talk about ingenuity in a moment, to develop solutions for technical problems. Just give me a minute, that's it. Sorry, as I spoke with the telephone stop. That's very good, right? That's really happening to all of you, I think. You have what to answer, the telephone stops. Okay. Engineering to develop solutions for technical problems. Engineers design materials, metallurgists, structures, civil engineers, machines, mechanical engineers, systems, maybe electrical engineers plus so many other engineers, while considering the limitations imposed by practicality, safety, and cost. 3 parameters will limit your work: practicality, safety, and cost. You may be a fantastic engineer with a high level of IQ and good grades for all your engineering subjects, straight A's all the time. And on the spot on mathematics, any problem you can find a mathematical solution. But if what you're going to produce is not practical, able to be used, is not safe to use, and is high cost, is of no use, my dear friends, forget about that. The word engineer is derived from the Latin root ingenium, meaning clever guys. You know what I used to do? I asked everyone to pat their back, saying, I am clever. So if you want, you can do it yourself now. Pat your own back and say, I'm a clever guy. I'm a clever guy. I used to even ask when I had the online, to unmute and start patting your back. I will not do that because I'm running short of time. So you are clever guys to begin with. Just having the engineering degree is enough to say that you are a clever guy. But engineers are grounded in applied science, and your work in research and development is distinct from the basic research focus of scientists. I used to also give some examples. Now this one's time to do that. Remember, you should be good in science, but your job is not to find an exact solution like what the scientists are supposed to do. You have to find a solution, as I told you, limited by those three factors: practicality, safety, and cost. Need not be the best product, but should be practical enough to be used by others. The work of engineers form the link between scientific discoveries and the application that meet the needs of society. So this is going to come back like a broken record in two other definitions that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. Next one. Okay, let me show this. Therefore, the central focus of engineering profession is the application of scientific knowledge to meet societal needs. I hope I can get a pen. Where is the pen? Where is the pen? Where is the pen? Oh. I don't know. I don't want to stop this and waste my time. It's the pen that I can find. It's the pen has come. I hope. So this is the societal needs. Society has a lot of needs. And our engineering work is encompassed in scientific logic, including mathematics. So engineering domain is here. The intersection that meet the societal needs, where we can address it through our knowledge in engineering. So that's our role. Being engineers is this. I'm sure most of you have seen this picture. Hey, come on. It's moving now. Okay. On the other hand, we are human beings, right? And some of us are highly analytical, and some others are highly creative. If you are neither analytical nor creative, I'm telling you guys, you are not fit to be an engineer. Either you have to be analytical or you have to be creative. Then you can be engineers. So engineers may pursue creative efforts without involving analytical skills. So some engineers will use their creativity to find solutions, and some may use their analytical skills to find solutions. And one may apply analytical skills without entering the domain of creativity. And some may use all these things. Oh, what it is? I'm sorry, wait, I get the pen. They go so. And I can, yes. I didn't know that you can't use with the pen. For example, as engineers apply commercial software to the solution of an engineering problem, the application of analytical skills per se may involve little or no creativity at all. What do? There's a software package. You collect all the data, create data, and put some hypotheses, feed it the data, you get an answer, and test the answer if it is going to be okay. under all kinds of possible scenarios, then you have a solution. And your creativity was not demanded, was not necessary. On the other hand, an engineer may design an ergonomic office space with very little analytical skills. I'm not going to ask you the definition of the ergonomics. It's designed for maximum comfort, efficiency, safety, and ease of use, especially in the workplace. And people do design, right? Buildings. So there you may use a lot of creativity without entering the domain of analysis. It'll be working in your mind, but it's more creativity there that matters. Hence, let us now look at engineering from these perspectives. So here you are. The engineer is still there in the middle. The engineer is still there in the middle. Right? So I'll pull out the pen. And you're still there. Now you have 3 segments of engineering. Those who fall into so just keep this in mind. And also keep these 1, 2, 3 sectors in mind. 1, 2, 3 sectors means societal needs with analysis, societal needs with creativity. They are also finding solutions. And 2, societal needs met with analysis and creativity. And who are these? Engineers who are using a lot of analysis fall into this category. Engineers who are using a lot of creativity will fall into this category. And engineers who are having some analysis, some creativity, fall into category B. Now let's look at these. Right. In proper perspective. Right? So, 3 aspects of engineering. Sector A represents the intersection of purely analytical talents with engineering domain. This may be used to represent engineering science and ability to model complex systems and predict their response to various inputs under various conditions. This segment of engineering has, of course, been the subject of intense development over the last half century or even more, and has benefited most directly from the availability of fast digital computers. So you know the tallest brick building, Jetanarame, and I was in the German Nerd Center for some time, and one guy was trying to model using finite element analysis the stresses and strains in large brick buildings. So I casually asked him, how long do you think would have taken the engineers, even with those days, whatever skills they had, to design Jetanarame so that it will not crumble either through stresses or strains. Even the shape of Jetanarame is sharing the loads all over the place. He said, maybe 40 years, I'm sure. They'll take about 40 years to build Jetanarame. All bricks, tray bricks. And I said, I asked this guy who was building this supercomputer model, how long will you take to design Jetanarame using your model? So maybe maximum 4 hours. Maximum 4 hours. So that is the development of computer. Now it may be that happened almost 10 years ago. So maybe nowadays they're using all kinds of AI tools, maybe 4 seconds. Right? Sector C, creativity and engineering. The intersection of our creative capacity with the engineering domain can be viewed as representing those sudden intuitive leaps often responsible for revolutionary advances in technology called significant novelty, as well as those aspects of engineering not yet fully supported by engineering science. So these are these kind of empirical creations using empirical formula where you can't find analysis. But you know it's correct. That remain more an art than science. So you require creative engineers, you require analytical engineers. No one is superior to one another. So don't start looking at people and say, I'm a creative guy, I know better. I'm an analytical guy, I know better. Both of you are right. You know better than others. That's for sure. There's sector B, intersection of knowledge, that is scientific knowledge, and needs of society. So already the needs of society there, right? Using both creative and analytical capability. Can be used to represent engineering design, much real-world problem solving. This sector, that's why you say you have to have the two extremes are constantly doing research and development. And the B sector guys may be using those things to good measure in solving real life problems. But you only don't need analytical skills, but you also need creative skills sometimes. Just like what I told you about Apakotpally, I would have had the best of knowledge, but if I did not get around the people, I would have been able to do it. Real world problem solving. This sector includes activities ranging from developing innovative products and processes to creating an innovative bridge design to developing a new control process for petrochemical production and so on and so forth. I think the last time I went to China was in 2014. The year that I retired was 2015. I was stunned in Beijing. They had the IBM headquarters. Oh dear, dear. I cannot imagine how that building was built. Just imagine, just close your eyes and imagine a huge C. Let us see, put it written in a kind of a squarish form. See, it was to me like a sea, huge, monstrous sea, let us see, hanging in the air. How creative would have that been? What amount of analysis would have gone in that? Right? So most often, I think some engineers start off with A or C and may finally end up in B. What about the other sectors in the above figure? This is what I told you. How do you interact with the rest of the professionals? They are the rest of professionals. They are beyond engineering. They are not in the engineering domain. Sector 1, 2, 3. Sector 1 depicts intersection of analytical skills with societal needs outside the bounds of scientific knowledge might include economics and philosophy. I'm sure more than 2,600 years ago, Lord Buddha said that he meditated for a long time in real life when he became in that samsara journey, the last one. He would have also meditated a lot, analyzing and analyzing and analyzing, permutating, commutating. But he said that he has spent so many other births, before his mind could be developed. So a lot of analysis would have gone in. Did he study physics, chemistry, and mathematics like you and I? No. That's no record. But pure analytical skill. But meeting the needs of society. What people need, he preached. Economics. They don't need to be scientists, but they permutate, commute, and find out what is best for the country, which is a lot of analysis, meeting the needs of the people. Sector 3, other end. They are all artists, right? They create all kinds of nice things for us to see. Can you imagine a world without artists? without a sculptor? Awkward, isn't it? So we need them. Another profession, right? Sector 2 may be used to represent those societal needs outside the bounds of scientific knowledge that require both analytical and creative skill, perhaps including public policy. I hope I have some time to speak about public policy when I speak about ECSL. I'll go a little faster. I speak about public policy. You have to dish out the public policy. You can create it, but you have to offer it to the people in a acceptable manner. Very often what happens is, like just recently, I think it's not spoken anymore loudly now, the education policy. Now, I'm not going to blame this current Prime Minister for the education policy. This is supposed to be coming from the late President Jayad's time. I still remember when I was in university, we were talking about education white paper. You have heard this education white paper in the TV. There was a big debate in the parliament about education white paper was drafted by J.R. Jayadra. So this lady, after a lot of time, maybe 40 years plus, is trying to present it to the parliament. So see how difficult implementation of public policy is. Business administration, dishing out something the people are attracted to, seek their business and music. Giovanni, Beethoven, Mozart. Do you think they didn't have to have analysis? They have to have the sharps and the flats and the correct movement from one note to another, so that the music is not anymore noisy, but pleasing to the ear. They had to do a lot of analysis with creativity to create music. So we need all these professionals. Engineer cannot ignore the above very real issues. So that's why very often engineers are called by other people misfits. We cannot understand your language. You need the skills of the other professions to sell something to the people, to make other people accept the solution that you have found for them. I have a lot of examples, and unfortunately, my dear friends, I have no time to deviate because my time is going to be just another half an hour at most. Okay. Therefore, electro engineers, hold your breath, get ready for a beer. Electro engineers, get ready for a beer. Engineers are creative problem solvers. In the evening, if you don't have a beer can, just a bottle of beer, do this. Who stops you? Only your imagination. Finding solutions stops only at the end of your imagination. Create, solve and create. People need you to think out of the box. Come out with solutions that are seemingly impossible. Then you have a solution. Then you are useful to the society. Then you are an engineer, not otherwise. Okay, another definition of engineering. The Accreditation Board of USA is one of the largest single engineering entity, engineering regulatory body in the world. It's called ABET. If you want to get any engineering degree accredited anywhere in the world, ABET is the place. Get a certificate from ABET to say your engineering degree is accredited. You should be able to find a job anywhere in the globe. So Accreditation Board of Engineering and Technology of USA identifies, their definition has to be good, identifies engineering as that profession in which knowledge of the mathematical and natural sciences gained by study you have finished your study, partly. You still have some study to do. Your basic degree has given you adequate knowledge in engineering. Experience, that's what you have gained up to now. That's why you are eligible to become a chartered engineer after the PR process. And you are somewhere there. There are a few people who are doing the B paper just after 1 year of associate membership. I'm happy about it. I mean, they are confident that I can pass the B paper. Experience. But experience matters. Just because you pass the B paper, we are not going to give you the C inch or charter. You have to have a minimum period of experience. And these days I'm writing a report for the ISL of studying 10 engineering institutions around the globe, USA, Canada, UK, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, India, and Australia and New Zealand, 10 countries. I, along with a few others, are writing a report to the ISL. Each of these institutions in their own countries have the same requirement: study, experience, and practice. Is applied with judgment. Without judgment, my dear friends, you know that you have come across many engineers, I'm sure. Sorry to use this word. People talk, blabber, not knowing what they're talking about. If you're having good judgment, you will only tell things that are once again applicable, practical, safe, and within the cost. That's where judgment comes in. To get the acquired judgment, or to be able to give the judgment, you have to have a lot of experience behind you. Long years of experience. Hard work experience, not just shamming. So if you want to become a good engineer, work hard. Nothing to substitute. Grab any problem in your workplace. Even if that doesn't seem to be a problem, just go there and find out, is this process okay? Can I not improve it? Can I not make it a better way to for people to use that device in a much better way? Is my system working properly? Is there so much of wastage? Once again, not recently, a few years ago, I was at the Nerd Center. People have imported a coconut husking machine from India. Coconut husking machines. So it's a bit of a hassle to husk coconuts. So we went and saw the machine, and the owner, who spent about 1.2 million at that time to import this machine, was grumbling and saying, I have 4% breakages of coconuts, which means 4 out of 100, the coconut cannot be used. Maybe they are using something else. So the coconut shell is broken, damaged. It's not a good thing. So I told my engineers, try to bring this down from 4. They worked and worked and worked. I mean, that 1.2 million, 4%, what is 4%? But 4% means something to the producer. So our engineers in Nerd Center brought down that breakage to 2%. This did a marvelous job. 50% down breakages. Gain to the country. So sometimes you may just take things for granted. Yes, you have to do this and do that, and then open this can and that can. Why can't you find a better way? Why can't you find a better way? I always tell my engineering students, I teach at 2 places. Now, after retirement, as engineers, I need people who are thinking. I need engineering students who are thinking all the time. How can I do this better? How can I do this better? I learned my industrial engineering in my final year in the university, 1978, right? Do you know to date, I'm using some of the principles that I learned in 1978. I learned a subject called, a part of the subject in the industrial engineering, work study and time study. Those mechanical engineers who are in the factory environments will know this. Work study and time study. To date, I'm using it at home. To date, I'm using it at home. And whenever I go, wherever I go, in my workplace, I used to do that. How much of effort you are doing in the work? How much time you are spending on a particular task? Can't you optimize it? Can't you optimize the work methods? So engineering study is not to study and forget, my dear friends. You may very soon find that you may have already found that how much of your knowledge you are using. You may say nothing, absolute nonsense. You are using everything. You are an engineer because you had the engineering study courses. Of course, some courses you will never use it, but it's working in your head, right? And especially when you become senior people. I told you I did hydropower. I am only electrical engineer. And in the process, I learned a whole lot about geology, whole lot about hydrology, whole lot about structures, whole lot about materials, concrete. I never knew concrete is such a complicated subject. I don't know how far this particular story is true, but I tell you, that after the concrete is put, especially in dam, you have to take tests after 7 days, 28 days, and 7 days, 28 days, 3 months, and 1 year. Sorry, 3 months. Sorry, not 1 year. 1 year, maybe a summer. So the concrete in a dam should settle to the final strength within 3 months. So there was a block by block. They keep on laying the concrete, and they take samples. And if something goes wrong, they have to undo the work they did and redo it. And one fine day, we found the concrete did not set after 3 months. So it was quite a job to remove that block. So they were very hurt. It was a sample, just a sample, but we had to remove the whole thing. So they tried to argue and say why it failed. And do you know that? I don't know, I'm not a civil engineer. I'm not a civil engineer, but I will tell you what they said. They serve tea while the work is going on. They said, I'm sure somebody had thrown the cup of tea, whatever they after they drank, to this particular sample. We didn't believe it. You cannot, that's only an assumption. But no matter what, they had to remove that block. So I was curious, why tea? They say sugar does not set concrete properly. Possibly that is the cause. Then there was a transmission line in Nuwara district. So the temperatures can be very low. And we found certain members of the transmission line, the tower, were crumbling, just like brittle, very become brittle. I didn't know anything about metallurgy, right? Only thing I knew was there was a good metallurgy department in Museum Mortua. So I immediately contacted the professor, and we had a meeting, and we gave him the samples. So I didn't know why they were breaking. You know the reason? They analyzed the material and said, in these temperatures, which can go down to about 7 degrees C in the night, the material on top of the hills can become very brittle, so they collapse. Did any of you chemical engineers, or I don't know who knows these kind of subjects, material engineers. So I became knowledgeable as we go along. Right? You have to continue collect these informations to develop ways to utilize economically the materials and forces of nature. Materials and force, that's all we are using is data in engineering. We only use materials and force of nature. Gravity, tension, anything, stresses, strains, force of nature, friction. But for what? For the benefit of mankind. Benefit of mankind. So isn't this a good, nice now division? I was asked to speak to you about International Engineering Alliance. Now here it is. There are a lot of confusion about these things. I'll try to answer some of your queries. It's a worldwide organization, but very few organizations are there as full signatories. It's a very prestigious organization. It has 3 educational accords and 3 professional accords, agreements. Washington Accord for full-fledged engineers, Sydney Accord for some other category of engineers, and Dublin Accord for engineering technicians. International Professional Engineers Agreement, IPEA, is to gain for it register as International Professional Engineers. IESL is a signatory. And I was so fortunate to get the Washington Accord accreditation, full signatory status during my tenure as the president of the Institute of Engineers Sri Lanka. It was the 14th of June, 2014. When we went to the meeting, there was butterflies in my stomach. It was a quest for about 7 years of hard work of all my predecessors, presidents, and the many responsible engineers in the IESL. They worked very hard, but I got the crown on their behalf. So, International Professional Engineers Agreement, we got the membership somewhere in 2009, where now we can go and practice in the countries that IP-Ing is recognized. That become very useful for most of our friends from Sri Lanka going to Australia and New Zealand, so many places, Canada, USA. So engineering, the other agreement is International Engineering Technologies Agreement, and EPEC Engineers Agreement is for a variety of other reasons. So International Alliance, IESL, is a full signatory of the IEA. The full signatory of the Washington Accord is a provisional signatory of the Sydney Accord. We have got the final stage, where next year we might get the full signatory stage of Sydney Accord. And we are a full signatory of the International Professional Engineers Agreement. So about 3 years after your charter, you can apply to be registered as an international professional engineer. Now your charter is recognized in those countries. So I'll skip these things and go to the definition. And anything about IEA, please go to the web and put IEA.com. You get all these documentation. This is the best definition I can ever find for engineering. Engineering is an activity that is essential to meeting the needs of people. People first. Economic development and the provisions of services to society. For others, it's not for you. For others, you may be a beneficiary. Engineering involves purposeful application of mathematical and natural sciences and a body of engineering knowledge. So the other day I was teaching this same to the undergraduates, and I got very interesting answers for the body of engineering knowledge. Some people said that's in your character, some people said that's in your brain, some people said that's in your knowledge base. But the body of engineering knowledge is embodied in the engineering literature, including research papers. So guys, whenever you have a time, document your work, publish them. Don't keep it only to yourself, share it. Then you enrich the body of engineering knowledge, technology, and techniques. So we need technology and techniques. Engineering seeks to produce solutions whose effects are predicted to the greatest degree possible in often uncertain contexts. So you don't know what's going to be happen with a solution, but you know pretty well. Once this building is put up there, it will stay there for 50 years. Once you build this bridge, it will be there for maybe 80, 100 years. Once you put this system, and you are in a position to update that constantly to meet the needs of the present day. While bringing benefits, it actually has potential adverse consequences. So we require large amount of resources, both the environment and otherwise. So there can be potential adverse consequences in our work, my dear friends. Be aware of that. Don't shy away. Don't pretend that there are no consequences. There are consequences. Don't tell lies to people. Everything is going to be all right. No, it's not going to be all right. But you have to fix them to make it going to be all right. Engineering, therefore, must be carried out responsibly and ethically. You do your work responsibly. Take responsibility for the work you're doing and be ethical in what you're doing. Use available resources efficiently, be economic, safeguard health and safety, be environmentally sound and sustainable. Now, all these is in your code of ethics, code of conduct. You go home and look at the 8 clauses and about 42 rules. Go through them. You have to know that. But there are going to be 2, there's going to be 1 compulsory question in your B paper on engineering ethics. All these words are there. And generally manage risks throughout the entire life cycle of system. My dear friends, I must admit, I had to do this at Upper Kotmale. If I didn't do this, I would have been able to build the Upper Kotmale. But sad to say, most of our engineers throw risk, not only forget about the life cycle, but risk while you are doing the work. That's the bane of Sri Lankan people. You see these drivers, how many are very nasty accidents the last couple of years? 3 or 4, and killing 30, 40 people. Oh my goodness. Lives are not to be dispensed with in a haphazard manner. They have to live their life. They have people to looking forward for their day-to-day lives. So some families are broken. They have no breadwinners. They are gone. Or some of the young children whom they had dreams about are whisked off in a jiffy. Why? Sri Lanka throw away risk management. Risk management is a huge field of study. My dear friends, I am pleading with you. Do your proper risk management in all the work that you do. And it says through the life cycle, entire life cycle. Entire life cycle. You have no right to impeach. I am not going to go through these documents, my friends. I have introduced them. I just have about 15 minutes to go. Please look at this corner table, Washington Accord graduate. This is what you should be capable of. Even for your PR, this is important. The knowledge base is given in this small table. Let me read out the first column. As full-fledged engineers, there are 3 kinds of engineering technologists, right? Engineering practitioners, engineering graduates, technology graduates, and technician graduates. The best definition is given in the, apart from the IEA, is given by the Engineers Australia. If you have time, plug into Engineers Australia website. They even have charter for engineering technicians. Can you imagine? If I say that here, my colleagues who are engineers will kill me. A charter for technician, Basu nahi. Unta mukad charter work. People will tell me. But you have to recognize the skill of a technician. You may have a superb system. If he's going to not tighten the knot properly, the entire thing might collapse, my dear friends. They don't apply the proper torque. The entire thing might buckle, my dear friends. So technician is also important. And they should also get the charter technician. Why not charter the technologists? We don't like it, but we have to like it, whether you like it or not. But let's concentrate on engineers. Apply knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals, and engineering specialization as given in WK1 to WK4. They are all available in this the IEA document, respect to the solutions of complex engineering problems. The only difference between the three engineering practitioners, you and I, who have gone through a proper engineering education of 4 years at least, should be able to solve any complex engineering problem. The technologist defined and applied engineering procedures, technology, processes, systems, or methodology. So they know how to handle processes and methodology. In India, they are also called engineers, but there's a distinction between the chartered engineer of a 4-year working record and an engineer. He may also have a charter under Sydney Accord. I have met these people. There's a clear distinction, but still they are also called engineers. If we talk in Sri Lanka that they are engineers, I'll be the first person to be shocked. I know that for sure. But we don't like other people encroaching into our field. No, they're not encroaching into your field. They're technologists. They know how to handle technology. You know how to design the technology. That's the difference. You are the author. He's the doer. He's the conveyor of what you have found. Then finally, the technician. They apply wide practical procedures and processes. The range qualified several triple statements uses the notion of complex engineering problems and broadly defined engineering problems for technologists and well-defined engineering problems for technicians. That is where the difference is. So I'll go through this. Please, I beg of you to go through at least the first column of these things. And one of these things I require to focus on. Look at the first column, WP1, cannot be resolved without in-depth engineering knowledge at the level of blah, 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 which allows a fundamentals-based first principles analytical approach. That is what you and I as engineers are supposed to do. You must have enough knowledge and know your fundamentals and apply first principles and analytical approach. People don't even know that this is what the engineer should be doing. At least study the first columns. And we have defined the complex problems also. So knowledge profile, this is what you have got in the degree. Please look at these things yourself. I'm not going to go through this. These are all available in the literature, and I'm going to share this presentation with you. Please either send me an email or ask from Sanjeevan. I'll put my email address in the end. If you have any questions, send me an email or even WhatsApp message. I'll put my credentials. I have no problem. I will answer you. So ISL program outcomes we define. Anyone coming to get the engineering degree accredited or recognized will have to follow these things. So I'll skip all these things. This is all theory. I have to go through to the rest of the slides. What do we need our engineers to be? This is what I would expect as a senior engineer from you when you get the charter. What's it? Listen with an open mind and speak up when required. Don't keep mum. Speak up when required. Always in a talking mood. That's not Russian word, but speak sense. Don't speak nonsense. Write well, clearly, and logical in all your writing. In whatever they write, fiercely be careful about accuracy. But what you write, you cannot read wrong. So think carefully before you put words on paper. Once you talk, of course, you can withdraw and say, I'm sorry. But once you put it in writing and send to someone, you cannot withdraw it in a hurry. It can cost you money. Good manners. Be courteous, well-mannered. Dress well. Be smartly dressed to the occasion. I don't want you to go in coat and tie all the time, but be smartly dressed. Be recognized as an engineer. Read well. I tell this to all my junior engineers. There's nothing to substitute for reading in whichever media you like. There's so much of media. And also be aware of what is happening around you. Otherwise, you'll be like a frog in the whale. Technical reports, whatever reports that comes your way, read, and nothing to substitute for hard work. This is what I would like to see in you. I already face challenge, so I will not go through this. The young engineer in red shorts. Herculean task to meet that sumo. I'd like to ask you the word. Are you ready to face the challenge? Can I have a resounding yes if you can unmute? Anybody? Nobody want to unmute your mics. Is there anybody who would like to say yes? That you are ready to face the challenge? No one. So I'll get your names and say that don't pass these engineers. You are not willing to face the challenges. Are you? Anybody? Don't be shy. I mean, what the hell? Nobody sees your face. Okay, but be mindful. And I do two things. You face the challenge confidently thinking, if I can't do, who can? If I can't do, nobody can. So do it yourself. Don't wait for others to do it. But after winning, after doing and overcome the problem, be humble enough to say, if I can do, who can? Who can't? That means this is where your duty to other engineers are. This is why I plead with you, please, if you have done something good, share it with others so that they will also learn how to do it. Write technical papers. Don't stop. Share it. Don't keep it with you. Share it with others. Write papers, technical papers. Okay? Let us look at all these awful pictures. Who is responsible for this? Electrical engineers. No one else. My profession. Same. Who is responsible? Those are civil engineers, building engineers, regulatory engineers. This in Fort. Why did they wait till the building collapsed? I don't think that a lot of people got injured. People got injured. What is this? One of the world's worst engineering disasters. 1,100 lives lost in Dhaka. See the number of people watching. Were Bengalis and Sri Lankans are very much alike. We love to sing. We love to gather. You know what happened during tsunami, no? People ran to the seashore and they washed away. We are very curious. Being curious is all right. There was a joke in the national newspapers. But where we go, we like to bash Chinese, no? So this is in China. Where is this? Where is this? Any idea? Any idea where is this bridge that has collapsed? Anyone from RDA? Can someone help me with this question? Where did this collapse? In Sri Lanka. What is the bridge? Where at least? We make us set gila ganu kenek innawa. Anybody? Anybody from RDA who can help me with that and share your knowledge? This is Dharanegala. I traveled on a very similar bridge where the bridge was swaying from one side to another. And there was no road sign to say that the bridge is dangerous. And immediately after I crossed the other side, at that time, there was a good friend of mine in the RDA at a very senior level, batchmates. I immediately called him and gave him a placard. Put someone then there and put a notice board to say not to cross this bridge. I would have died. I would be here today to talk to you. The bridge collapsed halfway through. If technologists and technicians try to do a job of engineers, this may happen. So you should know what technologies are capable of, you should know what technicians are capable of, and you should do what you're supposed to do. But are we prepared to face the challenge? Can we confidently say that we engineers in Sri Lanka will not let this happen? Can I assure that our chartered engineers are in a position to avoid this kind of disasters? The answer is in your hands. Now, Engineering Council of Sri Lanka and public policy, I will not go through Engineering Council. The act is there for you to see. The public policy. This I want to emphasize on because I am supposed to talk about public policy. Thomas Dye is a professor in political science in the USA. So he should know what he's talking about. Public policy is whatever a government chooses to do or even not to do. The government is representing the public. Other than, now this is other than act now. You don't need policy if there are laws. The law will look after the policy. So policy is beyond the laws of the land. There is also a public policy that governs the nation. So periodically we change governments, and when certain governments come into power, they declare their policy. So until that government is there, or before they are thrown out, they try to implement that policy, but not always. They say something and they do something else. You know, all know that. So public policy is a huge, very open-ended thing, right? So let me try to give you some answers. What is public policy? Public policy is a combination of laws. So sometimes the public policy is implemented through laws, regulations, actions, policies, and any other factors concerning a given topic. Such public policies of a nation are shaped over time by education, advocacy groups, influences of lobbyists. Now, this government is supposed to be catching thieves. Is it in the law? Of course, it's in the law. But all this time they were there in the law store. And these people seem to be doing something to catch the thieves, the rogues, those who are corrupt. And these laws were there all this time. So their policy now is to minimize corruption. Will they complete or not? I don't know. We are yet to see. But at least they seem to be doing. And conflicting interests of special interest groups. The public policy process is therefore very dynamic. It can change, and a complicated process that occurs via public forums. Sometimes people gather and they discuss and they formulate policy. That becomes implementable. There may not be laws and rules and regulations for that. Right? First, the problems. Now, in public institutions, you see the national anthem being played at 8:30. Either in the constitution says that you have to play the national anthem every day at 8:30 in public offices. No, that's just someone's policy. First, the problems of the public receive recognition and identification. So you may one day be making policy. Understand your role. There should be a problem for a policy to be promulgated. You have to recognize that there's a problem, and then you have to identify. Then the process of public policy will help sort the problem. These policies can be political, economic, cultural, social in nature. Say, for example, the fine for traffic violations used to be very lenient. The statistics shows daily 8 human lives are lost due to road accidents. Recently, Sri Lanka, maybe these have been revised again, and made these fines very strict. It's just a matter of policy. Say fines ranging from 55,000 for speeding and suspension or cancelling of driving license, etc. for drunken driving. Still, we have these errors. Still, somehow, that's part of public policy. However, they are still not quite as strict as the ones in Europe, USA, and Singapore. This can be considered as evolution of public policies of a nation. So I'm sure with these new so many bus accidents, public policies emerge. Recently, there was of course, I don't believe in this kind of changing public policy that often, just because 2 people died because of crashing into a tipper that was carrying sand. So during school hours, maybe 2.5 hours in the morning or 2.5 hours in the evening or something like that. So sand tippers can't drive on the roads. Mara public policy. That is reactive public policy. But you should think very carefully and then promulgate policy. Yesterday there was a very fantastic presentation by the Queensland chapter of the ISL. It was on vehicle accidents in Sri Lanka, given by an Australian lady who had been here only for 10 days. And she mapped out a public policy that they have in their own workplace. She's involved in the mining business. That can be easily adopted in Sri Lanka. A policy for minimizing vehicle safety issues. Promulgation of regulations under Quarantine Act of Sri Lanka is public policy. So I'm not going to go this. The purpose of the ECSL is to maintenance of professional standards, conduct of engineering practitioners, registration of different categories of engineering practitioners. So the law now, you cannot practice engineering without getting registered in the ECSL. So I'm to the last few slides. I'll quickly go through this. You have this literature. I think I'll stop here now. And I said, are you ready? I'll leave this nice picture for your contemplation. Right? So that's all I want to say. And those who want to contact me, I'll put in the chat. That's it for everyone. My email address is, if you have any question, maybe you are shy to ask. I hope you can all see that. If you want these slides, I'll send you. And even my WhatsApp number. You don't call me on WhatsApp. Just send me messages. I may not know you, so please introduce yourself. Tell that you were in this class and you want some clarification. I would still open the forum for any question if you have. So in my chat, you have my contact details. So anybody can unmute yourself. It might help the others because I went extremely fast. I covered a lot of ground because that's what I was told to. I wish I was speaking to you face to face. That's what I like. But the floor is open. I'll keep it open for a few minutes. It's already 7:15. I can stay for 5 more minutes. If you have any questions, please unmute yourself and speak up. I'd love to hear your feedback. Was it useful? Was it not nonsense? Or you disagree with me? I'll be the happiest person to listen to your disagreement. Or any clarifications? I'm ready to answer. The clock is ticking. There's no one. I can close. One last chance. Anybody?